Good evening, everyone. So, if you've ever been at work and have suffered from a loss of confidence in your performance, or you've been under the microscope of a boss through micromanagement, or perhaps you've even had to deal with an unnecessary amount of office gossip about yourself or about other coworkers, or if you have ever been challenged with the inability to trust your coworkers with even the most basic information, chances are you have been or currently are in a toxic work environment. There's lots of different signs of a toxic work environment. Those are some of the more common ones. You start to feel like you aren't as good at your job. You're being micromanaged by your supervisor. Everyone at work talks about everyone else at work and not in kind terms. And you also feel like you can't trust your coworkers because you never know when they might go behind your back with a personal piece of information or something you've done on the job, and you just can't trust them. So those are all signs of being in a toxic work environment. As someone who's been in a toxic work environment, and as someone who's worked in corporate America for over 20 years, I will just tell you from experience, if that's you, if you're in that situation, I know it's a tough job market, but you need to find another job as soon as possible, because nothing will stunt your career development. Nothing will ruin your career progress faster than being stuck in a toxic work environment. And unfortunately, there's lots of them out there. And one of the most common things you're going to feel when you're in those environments is you're often going to feel like somehow it's your fault, like there's something wrong with you as a person. And I'm here to tell you that's not the case, not even close. The problem is with the people at your job, with the leadership at your firm, at your company. Whether you're working for a small company, a medium-sized company, or a large Fortune 100 company, the issue is with the leadership at the company. And maybe it's the leadership in your department if it's a large company, but the issue is with the leadership. It's not your fault. It's not your fault you're in that toxic work environment. It's not your fault that things are going the way they're going. It's because it's a toxic work environment, and it just is a hard place to be. And the longer you're there, the harder it is to get out of, and the harder it is to regain your confidence. There was been times in my career where I felt like I was inept at my job when that was not the case. When I could look back and when I stepped back from my job, I could look over the course of my career and see all these achievements I've done. Many I had done on my own, by myself, without the help of a team or with the help of anybody. And so I knew when I looked back on those things that I actually was good at my job and I was a valuable asset at companies. And so if my boss and if the company I was working for wasn't going to value me, it's time for you to go. And even if you've only been there for just a little bit, whether it's been 6 months or a year or less than 6 months, if it's a toxic work environment, there is no amount of time that you should be spending there. I know the stresses. I'm a husband and I have 2 kids. And so I know the stresses of trying to, you want to stay there because you need the paycheck, because you need to be able to support your family or your kids or yourself, or maybe even have a loved one that you're taking care of. Maybe it's a parent or a grandparent or an aunt, an uncle, whatever the case may be. You feel like you got to stay there until you can find another job. And I get that. I've been there. I've been under that pressure, and I've caved to that pressure and stayed way too long at jobs that I knew weren't a good fit for me. And I should have left because the amount of work I've had to do to undo all of that damage it wasn't good. And I actually suffer from work-related PTSD, believe it or not. So because of those things, and so you got to just get out, whatever it takes to get out of those jobs and find something new. I really encourage you to do that. So again, really important though, it's not your fault. You're not the one responsible for the toxic work environment. Don't let them keep you down. Don't let them ruin your confidence in yourself or your abilities. And if you can't trust your coworkers, you spend so much time at work. Whether you work an 8 to 5 job or you work at a job that requires 50 or more hours, you spend so much of your life at a job. You need to make sure you work at a place where you can trust your coworkers, you can enjoy working there as much as possible, and you can grow in your career. So I hope this is helpful. I'd be happy to hop on a free 1 hour call to talk to you about how you could advance your career and provide you some career direction if you're interested. There's a link in my bio, and I'll put it in the comments as well, so you can schedule some time on my calendar if you want to schedule that free 1 hour call. Good luck.